All right. G'day, Steel Nation Australia. G'day, Steel Nation Worldwide. G'day, Steel Nation Universe. G'day, Steel Nation Mars. G'day, Steel Nation Venus. G'day, Steel Nation everywhere. Holy dooly. I'm going to cut to the chase real quick and short. The reason why I'm wearing headphones today is I have a special guest. You know who he is. It's my mate Tyler from It's Yinsburg. So let's bring in Tyler straight away. And we're going to do a quick half an hour to 35-minute show. G'day, just me. Quick show talking about Steelers and everything going on in the NFL. So let me bring in Tyler to see what's going on. G'day, mate. How are you?
What's up, Mark? Hey, good. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm pretty. I'm okay. But I do want to start the show very quickly before we get into the Steelers. This is breaking news for you and I, or it happened yesterday. And we have to talk about it because I think this hits our heartstrings and the NFL heartstrings. Demaryius Thomas passed away yesterday. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, man, that's rough. Real rough, man.
Right. I'll have my little take, and if you want to say something after, then we'll push on. But pretty much for me, Demaryius Thomas, like I don't know the guy. He's a receiver for the Broncos. Started in 2010, and he's had troubles with his health over the last year. The biggest takeaway for me and why it's so shocking is the bloke was 33. And it is very sad to hear that someone in the NFL that you and I, do stuff on the fin, get around and we'll watch the NFL. He doesn't need to go. He doesn't need to leave this earth at 33. No one does. I'm almost 32 and I feel like I'm just having the best time of my life. So sad to hear a young person. He should be getting old and gray as you and I get older. Shocking NFL. Yeah, it just sucks. It's not good. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, man. Especially 33 years old. That's about 7 years old, or 7 years older than me.
Right.
I can't imagine. And especially reading his background, he had a heck of a childhood growing up. Like, heck of a story. Went through so much. I encourage anyone who hasn't read about him just to look into it. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, because I'm actually not the best reader. I get bored very easy, but I've been trying to read Tunch, and I really need to get back to it. And as Tunch passed away this year, you don't look at their story, do you, until they're gone, and that's kind of sad. Because Demaryius Thomas, he burnt us in that play, the Tebow to Thomas for 88 yards, and why that was terrible for a Steeler fan. As you can appreciate, and what I really love about the NFL, it's the NFL law. It's NFL around everything, and that's why I love it, the history of it. There's a fantastic play. Like, look back at it. He burnt us for 88 yards over the middle, got rid of Taylor, got rid of Troy Polamalu, and they won the game in overtime.
Yeah, like kickstarted his career too.
Yeah, like
pretty much.
Just said, see you later, put the burners on, and won the game in the first play of the Broncos. And yeah, I just want to give a shout out to just his family too. Like, it's rough as guts, as we say in Australia, and we don't know him personally. I don't know, it's just too young, way too young. You don't want to hear it. And as I bring into the live chat too, Just Me says, hey there, and it's sad news. All right, anyways, hard to segue from that stuff, but we've got to talk about what's the overall, what happened yesterday. Just overall,
Man,
what happened?
I mean, I don't even know.
Like,
I don't know if I should be super mad or super impressed that they're able to come back.
Actually, it was probably one of the, without a Steelers cap on, it was probably one of the greatest games. Going down 29-0, and in the history, I think since 1980 was that the 49ers came back to beat someone, which they had, I don't even know. They came back 28 points. So this would have been the most.
That was the largest one.
And it's like, how does this even happen? Like, and there's the stat that I always find very comical out there. Big Ben has the most, like 51 comebacks in his career, but you put yourself in that position to come back. It's one of those stats. It's like, is that really a good stat? Yes, they can be down, maybe 7 points or whatever. But to always to come back, and it feels like, as we get Steelers NASCAR here too, they were actually here before. You were here at 4 a.m. while I was sleeping. I checked the comments before. That's awesome. Yeah, like, it's just, I don't know. Why? I'll ask you this question too, off the same kind of theory. Why are the Steelers putting us through this kind of thing every week?
I don't think the offense can get going until the no hurry starts. I mean, no matter what the defense is doing, it just momentum starts there apparently.
Yeah, because I don't think we've watched a season right now. I could be wrong, but we haven't really been in front, and when we have been in front, they've always chased it down. Right? It's been a one-score game the whole season. When's the last time that's happened?
Whew.
Do you remember the days like in 2008, 2009, 2010, where we would sometimes just beat a team randomly 30-0, or we just go out there and lay the smack down and I just don't remember, and it's because I've been streaming all the games. I've had the roller coaster ride of like, okay, we're down by 29. That sucks. Let's deal with it. This is a terrible team, and then they come back.
Yeah. Dude, I was checked out. I was sitting there just like, all right, I'm going to stick this one out. I'm going to just watch this beatdown happen. And then they start going. They get there. They let up that, 62-yard pass, though?
I was going to talk about that next. So the theory is what's been happening over the last 3 years. If we get down, we're down points, they come back, and there's always that one drive where they can't stop the offense. And it's always that one drive, like in the Browns game when we were coming back in the playoffs, and next minute, they score more points, right? They score more points again, and then we're down by an extended theory of points.
Same thing against
it happened
Jacksonville.
Yesterday. Exactly. It's like, how do you keep on? We're coming back for the win, and then you get that extra one TD like yesterday, and that becomes the difference, doesn't it?
Yep, absolutely. And it just seems like every single time, just one stop. Can't make one stop whole time.
And all we needed was that one stop.
Yep. And, 62-yard pass? Really?
Yeah, and look, I'll put it this way. Apparently he did push off, but it doesn't matter. In the grand scheme of things, the game was that bad. We can't be grabbing for straws and talking about, penalties and flags. We'll get to Claypool near the end of the show. I've got some things about Claypool, and I hope you do too, because that's a fucking joke. Yeah. That's what I like. Like, we're down 29-20, right? And you'd think the defense were playing pretty well at that time. You start to come back, you get a stop, and it's exactly right. In 3 plays, bam, it's 36-20. And then we got to catch up in 8 minutes to get 16 points. All right. Let me just go over the stats just quickly, and I honestly see if anything comes out to you that makes that I can't see you at the face at the moment, but Big Ben, 300 yards, 28-40. That sounds pretty similar, doesn't it?
Yeah. 70%.
Yeah. And he's also got 3 TDs, 5 sacks. Like, Big Ben had a game. We'll talk about him at the end, near the end too. Najee went 94 yards, 4.7. But a lot of the stuff was in the second half. Claypool, Deontay, and James had 65, 76, and 93. So the offense was struggling. We scored 21 points again in the fourth quarter. But that TD at the end, the missed field goal at the start, too many errors. Kirk Cousins had an average game, 14-30, but he's an average quarterback. 2016, two TDs, 2 interceptions. Dalvin Cook ran over us, 205 yards. That's incredible. We'll talk about the offense and defense next. That's just sad. 242 yards on the ground game. I don't know how many games in a row now we've let up 200 yards. We must be around 800 yards on the ground. Jefferson killed us all day. He killed Sutton. Yeah. What do you think about some of those stats? Like, what do you think about the rushing?
Devin Bush.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Brian Brown. It is. Yeah, I got my special guest today, Tyler from It's Innsbruck. The bloke who does all the cool videos. So,
yeah.
No Devin Bush, eh?
Yep. I mean, you look at him every play. He's shooting the gap before Cook.
Right. I did see that. Like, I don't play football, but I realized that he's not there today, is he? He is not. I don't know.
It's like he lost all his instincts. I mean, he's running, setting up a hole, basically blocking for Dalvin Cook. He's just not staying home and not finding a position.
Yeah. But I got the game on now. We're in the second quarter, the full game. So this would be fun to watch. But there was one play I think I saw him where I think Dalvin Cook went to the left-hand side, did like an offhand carry. And yeah, I think Bush just went to his opposite side and ran as hard as he could down into the line. It looks like he's playing football, but nothing was accomplished. He didn't fill any gap. He didn't chase down the runner. He was running on the backside of the play. Is that the one? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it was pretty much the whole game. I mean, he's just not in the right spot. And the funny thing is, you can blame one guy, but your middle linebacker is the quarterback of the defense. And there's a reason that your best middle linebackers in the league get 150, 160, even more tackles a year. I mean, Bush is on pace for what, like 70?
True.
That's your guy.
Who are those blokes? Like every year, who's that guy at the Keekley? He always gets a lot of tackles, right? Guys like that.
Bobby Wagner.
Yeah. Like I just don't. I'm actually I can't handle the middle linebacker call right now. Schobert just doesn't seem like he's doing anything out there. And Devin Bush is the same. There seems to be no communication, no physicality in that middle linebacker call. It feels like they're just waiting to see what happens. Like they're reactive, not just like, oh, he's over there, I'll better go tackle him. And they both look at each other. Last week in the Ravens game, Devin Bush did a back trot. Did you remember seeing that? He went back on his 2 feet and he let the guy get the first down.
Yeah.
Like, something's up, man. I think something needs to change. I don't even care who comes in. And obviously, when they tried Marcus Allen yesterday, there was a play. I don't know if you saw this, Tyler. There was a play yesterday where Marcus Allen was the only freaking middle linebacker in the field. And he was playing in between the tackles and he got burnt. Well, the whole defense was just out. It was like the wide open seas.
Dude, they brought in Schobert basically to be like a pass guy because Spillane was never the pass guy. I guess Bush, they knew was struggling. They knew he was struggling in general, but I guess they thought he could quarterback it.
Yeah.
I hope Spillane can come back and make a difference. Something's definitely got to change.
They need something where, they need to be physical in the run game and shut down these running holes and play some. They missed. You know who they missed too? They probably didn't think Vince Williams was going to go away this year, right? Now Vince Williams was a thumper, but he did his role, and even if he was old this year, if Vince Williams was old, he would easily run down into the box and take up the room and smash him, and that would create some other things around the defense.
Smart player.
We're lucky. We're lacking in that middle. We're just lacking physicality and heart for this team. And it's like, you put the pads on, you get all pumped up, you do these dances, and you get all ready to go, and then nothing happens. Like nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I think Vince retired because I'm not entirely sure. He seemed a little bitter, but I'm not sure if he's going to make the team if they were just going younger.
Yeah. Maybe he didn't want to be a part of this.
Especially Tuitt's killing us too, not being there, wherever Tuitt's been.
Exactly. And Alualu, we were missing so many pieces, but at the end of the day, I think yesterday it showed on the defense. We are talking a lot more defense, but we'll talk offense too. Some of those, I'm watching it now, second quarter, 9 minutes ago, 16-0. Dalvin Cook already has 107 yards. Those lanes are open. Like anyone could run through that. There is no physicality. You can't stop the run with just four in the front. You need the linebackers to step up and plug the holes, and then the safeties come in too. And then there's a theory that people are saying, well, you don't want to get burnt by the coverage. You got to get burnt by something, and I think you chose the wrong option. I don't think Kirk is that good. Why didn't we send the blitz or the house on Kirk a lot of times?
Oh, yeah. I don't understand why. If we're going to dial in on one thing, do the blitz. Especially if nothing's working at all.
And even Just Me says here, they'll completely open for them. It was just like, here you go. Here is offensive line didn't even push that much. A few people bodies the other way. And Dalvin Cook at one point, Dalvin Cook had an average, and you might have an average here. He had an average of 7.6 yards. At one point, he had an average of 15 to, I think, 14 yards.
Yeah, late into the fourth, it was about 10 yards. I guess, they all locked in on it.
What?
They had no.
All right, okay. All right, let's go back to the offense. What are your thoughts about the offense? And we'll start with how you said, you brought up the the no huddle kind of stuff. What do you think about the offense?
It's hard to say, especially given that Big Ben was just getting absolutely hammered before he could even look down the field yesterday for the first three
Yeah.
quarters. So, it would be easy to blame, Canada. It'd be easy to blame anyone, but offensive line was at blame 100%. Najee's getting smacked before he touched the ball. Certain receivers, particular one, isn't blocking for him on the edge either. So it's hard to say.
I like that on your It's Yinsburg Instagram. I like that story you did with the old South Park. Playing Canada, playing Canada.
From the movie, yeah.
That was super funny. And we'll get to the coaches. They're after Claypool. Don't you worry. For me, the offense was as predictable as normal. So flat for the last 2 years. We shouldn't be shocked anymore. We don't score anything in the first half. We're not doing anything until the team gets pissed off. They let up too many sacks, had 5 sacks on Ben until Ben starts to yell at people and say, "What are you doing to me? This is not working." And then they change it, and they did like the one pass I loved from the offense, if it spins a positive, was that TD to Washington. That was over the middle, right? That was unreal. I'm pretty sure he just Ben was like, "Fuck this," and just threw it as hard as he could, and then they got the TD. They were super frustrated. They tried to come back, but when you're chasing points like that from 29 down, you got not even a 1% chance to win. Anything more you want to add to the offense, or is just what do we do?
A lot of people want to criticize running the ball 6 times in the first half with Najee, but it wasn't working. I mean, he was getting caught up immediately. And it seems flat, but that offensive line is where it starts and ends for Big Ben. I mean, he can't move, which is fine. There's plenty of pocket quarterbacks. But I don't know, man. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
It's so hard.
Well, the thing is, people talk about blame coaching. We'll get into that, but it's like this team is so different from head to toe. The only real guy that's been there for a long time is Cameron Hayward and maybe TJ and Ben, and Joe Hayden, but he didn't play. Pierre Jefferson, he's a Washington / Steeler fan. So right now, Washington's better than us. Oh, my. He says, "Where's my Kangaroos?" I was offering, I said I was giving out yesterday, the next person, if they score, I can't remember what I was saying. I was something like, next person who scores, I'm gonna send them, and they give me a comment. Oh no, I wanted someone to do I wanted them to do a review of me freaking out for 10 minutes. Whoever can make me a compilation of me freaking out for 10 minutes, they get beef jerky. I'll send them kangaroo jerky. So firstly, I need to find kangaroo jerky. I got to go out in the woods to get it. All right. Oh, we've already got a bit of rip in the chat, mate. Hey, look at this. Someone's trying to rip you, mate. Brian Brown. I got a special guest here, mate. I don't get them very often on my shows. And it's like, are those your sister's headphones, or is he supporting breast cancer? I'm joking. Real men have no issues wearing. Yeah, think, man. I think he actually stole them from a homeless guy. So that makes it even worse.
Yeah, I got them from the TikTok stars.
Yeah, they're Claypool's headphones. No, I'm joking. Just me disagrees. Not a lot of pockets these days. No, there's not. This defense went hammer and toe right at Steelers, and it worked. NASCAR says we need duck. We need something. And I don't really blame Big Ben. I don't. I think he's trying his best with what he's got, and I think his offense played poorly at the start, but tried to come back. And in some of that, the defense needs to help us out. If we played poorly for two quarters and they only scored 16 points, we're in that game. So the defense needs to help us out. Any more you want to say on the defense, or are we just saying what went out? Highsmith went out. I don't know where you start, because Sutton was getting burnt. Minka was trying his heart out, almost got a penalty, but I'm glad that wasn't done. There's just there's a bunch full of guys on that defense. There's no real Steelers besides Cam and maybe TJ?
Yeah, I mean, I think Sutton has his moments. They just, but even when TJ went out is when the defense started coming alive. Oddly enough, I liked what I saw out of Taco. He had his moments getting some pressure back there, which I think they should be cycling out those guys a lot more anyway. Especially given how TJ's been injured every other play for the last 5 or 6 games.
Yeah, I agree. Same with Highsmith too. He got injured for a bit. It's not the days of 2017 defense where we had Vince Williams, and I think even when when did Lawrence Timmons retire? 2016 was his last season, right? I think it was. It's not even
five. He went to Miami for a season and disappeared. He went missing.
Yeah, I think he's gone. I don't know where he is now. He's like done my NFL. That's it. Can you hear the game? Sorry.
Oh, it's not terrible.
I'm watching the game again. Because I want to hurt my heart. All right, it's down. To finish on the defense for me, something needs to change. Like Tomlin just said it before, something's got to change. I don't know if you put in Buddy Johnson for the rest of the year. If you send a message and bench bench Bush, something has to spark these fellas to say, you're getting paid millions of dollars. You're going to the training camps and stuff like that. You're doing the best you can, but it's like, and I understand if there's like psychological problems, sure, that's like we'll get you help, or there's family stuff going on. But these fellas, they're not playing, mate. Every time they come out in the field, to be down 16 points or 29 points at halftime, that's so embarrassing. Like every single person on that defense should be embarrassed. And I want to segue into this as we talk about some of the celebrations in Claypool. What are your thoughts about the celebration? Akila Witherspoon gets a pick, right? And then he runs to the end of the end zone, and it's 28-7. He doesn't score, but he celebrates and runs all the way to the end zone.
I'm mixed about that because football is all emotions. It's all about momentum. It's about, especially on the defensive side, those guys back there, Witherspoon being out there it's kind of indicative of how that defense was yesterday. And after that, they seem to lock down pretty well. So, whatever it takes, it's not like getting a first down and celebrating. So, turnovers, stuff like that. If it will get them to the next play, get them through next drive, 3 and out again. They can do all they want, stuff like that.
I'm not a big fan of it. I still have this theory, and I've told it before. I reckon one day or in the next 2 years, and you and I can have a bet. I don't know. I'll send you kangaroo jerky. In the next 2 years, someone is picking this football. They're not getting touched, and they're going for a safety. They are. I tell you, wherever that fan cam is, they're falling over, not getting touched, and running back for a safety. It's going to happen because they're going to think that they're touched, and they're going to run back to their end zone cam, which is the defensive cam, that's like that's kind of old though. This defensive cam thing's been going on now for a few years, and to me, it's kind of like, yeah, we get it. You make a good play, but it's every team does it, and when every team does that little gritty dance and like the TikToks and stuff, to me, it gets a bit old. Like, do something fresh. I don't know. When you get the pick, and I understand there's all emotions too, so everything you're not really thinking, right? But they're all running to the end zone for the defensive cam. Someone's gonna, whatever team does it, someone's gonna have a pick or a fumble and just run. They're just gonna run like Forrest to the back of the end zone and get a safety, and it's gonna be the funniest thing. I'd put a time on it. I think the next 2 years because we're still in that social media age. But we need to. I want to hear your thoughts on Claypool first. And there's 3 things. There's the taunting, the apparent missed block. I don't know if you know about that. I can't remember where that was. And the last one with the first down. What are your thoughts on Claypool and how does he need to change?
I think he's got to be benched. Just first and foremost, I mean, him sticking his finger in the guy's face right in front of the referee is just like, you just can't have that. And that missed block for Najee just got Najee murdered. and it was on 3rd down. So, I mean, he's got to be benched. And James Washington wants to go out there and play his heart out. You have Ray back there. Ray's making plays. Or just take his snaps down, 10, 15 a game. Just do something, make a statement. I mean, heck of a player. I mean, he's 6'4", 230 pounds, runs a 4.4. Hard not to have him out there, but if he's going to do stuff like the first down celebration, and not for me.
Yeah, I agree, and I'm gonna swear on this podcast. I think I can. It's all right, but if I was his player or teammate, I'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing? Don't fucking do that." That's it. If I was Cameron Hayward, shake him by the shoulder pads. Why? There needs a bit of tough love in that locker room. You have to man up in certain instances, and don't be so emotional and stupid. Claypool has been, I think, on this projection of this kind of stuff the last year or so. It's still only second year, right? Yeah, second year. Like, yes, he's a younger guy. I didn't see the block, so I have no idea. I can't remember that. I don't remember what happened with the exact block, but yeah, there's the first drive we had the possession going down to get almost looked like a TD. We were moving the football, and it was okay run. Like, it was okay run to the outside, 5-7 yards or whatever he had. And then he gets up and yes, the other guy pushes him, but be smarter. You're getting paid so many millions of dollars. You have so many fans watching you, so many people watching you. Be smarter in that situation. And he puts his hand in the guy's face, and you just don't do that. It's a dumb play. And then we get the penalty. Then DJ helped us out. He got back 17 yards for Claypool, on that. And then we got the first down, I think. I can't remember. We went for the field goal, and then we missed it, the 51 yards. Be smarter, drive killer. Now, the bigger thing for me, and you agree too, is the first down point with 42 seconds to go. What are you doing? Like, I can't stand people when they celebrate. And maybe it's a generational thing as you and I are getting older and stuff, and we, the TikToks and that kind of stuff come in, and it's all about ego, and it's all about this, and it's like, there is no point in this game that, okay, yes, you can have a little bit of like selfishness to be a player, and I'm the man, I'm the best, right? But when it impacts your team like that, and you lose vital seconds, and you get the first down, you're doing like the bow and arrow and the that kind of thing. And also one thing too, what is this? I don't know if it's like something rude, but why does Claypool like do this with his fingers or his throat? Is he cutting someone's throat when he does the first down?
Basically, it's just like a trending nose wipe thing. Yeah.
I don't get it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. That is the stupidest first down in the world. It's just okay. The essence of time and where you are on the football field, 0-0, and you're doing that. Don't need it, mate. You don't need it anywhere, actually. Just go and hand the ball off, and who did it best was like Hines Ward was, did the big massive blocks and smiled every time that he, got the first down. Thanks. And I don't like it. I think he needs to. I agree with you. I got called out in one of my YouTube comments, but it's only on was on the NFL. But some guy called me an idiot because I said benched Claypool. You have to. You got to send a message. You've got guys beyond him, Cody White and other guys who could step up and make that role. You've got Washington there, DJ Washington, Ray. There's three. Use Freiermuth more. Bench Claypool. Put him back. And Mike Tomlin did for a few series. He did after that stupid play. He's too young. He's too idiotic to do that. You have to bench him or send a message because, yes, you're getting, you have the whole life ahead of you and you're getting all these millions of dollars. You got you're famous and all this stuff. His press conferences, there's no passion. Same with Devin Bush. There's no passion for this team. There's no, I just don't see it with him. I don't know about you, but like right now, Claypool is not a Steeler, like the true Steeler.
Actually, he was making excuses after.
Oh yeah. Didn't he say
the ball got knocked out of my hands? I mean, he was throwing a fit right after the ball got clogged.
Mate. I saw that too. I saw that, and then my friends from behind the stall curtain, Jeff, who runs stuff there, I retweeted what he said, right? And I said that Trey Turner should have gave Chase Claypool a stone cold stunner. There's no way that you let Chase Claypool stand you up if you're the big man like Trey Turner. Trey Turner came over, and I do disagree what happened to him in the start of the year, right? He spit in someone's face. That was bad. That was terrible, right? But he's moved on, and he's apologized and gotten better. And Trey Turner's played played some pretty physical football over the last few weeks, and he's always there pushing people out of the way. He came over to get the ball out of Claypool's hands and said, "What are you doing? Get up!" And then
Yeah.
next minute, he had a baby fit and said, "What are you like? What are you?" I don't understand. You don't need to see in the game. We don't need any more drama. He made like Claypool made a fantastic play, right? That catch, the 40-yard bomb, right?
Yeah. And
So
he had that drive, but he had what, 93 yards, but what is it worth when you waste 15 seconds? What is it worth when you have a 15-yard penalty? What is it worth on 3rd and 1 when you're letting Najee just get absolutely murdered?
yeah, it's mate Noble here from Facebook says taunting makes the other team play harder. It definitely does. Like, you look like a muppet, you're gonna get treated like a muppet. And they're laughing at us. They're laughing at Claypool because we're so talented. And you don't celebrate when you're 6-6-1. You just don't do that. Celebrate when you win. It's just the culture of this team, and the culture I find sometimes in the NFL is reflective of what is going on in the 2021. Because in the social media ideas and all that kind of stuff, we have, it's that, what have you done for me lately? And the notification culture of like likes, dislikes, and who loves me and this kind of stuff. That's getting in the way. Claypool, mate, at the end of the day, you got to man up. I don't care. You got to put your head in the book and go around. You don't need to apologize. You don't need to run around and kiss butt around the locker room. But just don't do what you're doing.
It's weird. It's just, and that's people want to criticize Juju. Juju plays his heart out on the field, gives everything.
Yeah, I criticize Juju a lot, and I understand what people are saying now. Like, it's completely different compared to Claypool, because Claypool's like ×2, or I don't know. And he's so he can be physical, but at the same time he's not. Like, he's got the big body, but doesn't do anything with it.
He's all he has to do is block. This guy's 240 pounds. Just stand in front of the guy. That's all he had to do.
There's no real aggression, is there?
No.
And we find that too. Sometimes in the NRL, there's some big guys, and look, I don't play football, but there's some big guys in the NRL that are like massive, like 300 pounds, right, or whatever. And you just go, oh, if that guy was running full speed at his heart and 110%, he would run anyone over. The guys, some guys who are physical like that, like Claypool and stuff, you find that they're maybe not motivated to get to that like 100% level. Like Najee is running like Najee's running like a cannonball. He almost carried 3 people for a first down.
Yeah, man's a unit.
Trying his hardest, and then Claypool's out there, and like, the offense where they get the motion, he's like what? Like, it's just, are you going through the motions just to be in that play, or do you really want to be like, this is me, you're going down, I'm gonna, we missed that. I missed that.
He doesn't finish blocks either. Claypool's just end of runs. You'll see him just kind of stand there looking around. I'll give Deontay Johnson a pass because he's 150 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah,
but Claypool,
and he's playing his lights out too. DJ is playing his lights out for sure. I want to bring it back to another point. I want to get your thought on this, and we'll start to move into end it up and wrap it up with some of the culture and where's the heart and some of the questions we need to be answered. Did you? Okay, I watched the other day the New England Patriots, and we have one of our fans here, Angel, who's a Patriot fan, and they ran the ball 270 yards, physical football, and won that game. Now, where is that on our offense, or in like, people say, oh, that was a boring game because they didn't throw it. I love that game. New England Patriots ran over them. They lined up and said, whoever was guard, tackle, or center, and they lined up each man and said, I'm going to run down and get, carry after carry. That was the old school mentality football of like, okay, they only threw it 3 times, but they won the game. Yeah. Did you see that game?
Yeah, I did. And I think it was about the perfect game plan for how the weather was too. Just an old school game. No one likes to watch it, but real football fans like to watch it. So
I loved every single minute of it, man. I love that football. It brings me back to a few years when, even when the defense is pretty good too, even with our Steelers, and I think I'm trying to make too many points in my head. What I'm trying to say is back in the day, like 2017, 2016, 2015, we were so lucky for the offense because we could go and score points anytime we wanted, right? But then years previous, when we couldn't really score points, we relied on the defense. So even to a fact, if we went 3 and out, I was always excited to see the defense with Troy and those kind of guys because we always get the ball back. It didn't matter. It's just like now we don't really have either. We don't really have a strong offense or a strong defense to help us out. And that Patriot game was just, physical. And here are the elements. I'm going to run it down your face, and the defense won 14-10. And we didn't have that with, like you said, Claypool's not blocking. I give a pass on Washington. I thought he played pretty good. I give a pass even on Ray, but Ray, he's not a number one receiver, is he? And he's still playing. He's playing his hardest, right?
Yeah, the guy's 5'9", 120 pounds. I think he's out there laying down more blocks.
Yeah, and I think he can make some silly decisions too with the football. It's just, the big guys like Claypool. You could be, and he used to be physical. Last year he was pretty physical, I think, on the blocking, right? We gave him a lot of stuff. It's just, and Anari says here from Facebook, he says there's no bullies on our own line. What are your thoughts about that? No physicality?
None. I mean, I think Kendrick Green's a fake bully.
Well, what are your thoughts on him? He's been a hot topic too.
I think they should have drafted somebody who played more center in college. I mean, the guy can hardly snap, it seems like. It was snap after snap.
Mm-hmm.
High for Ben. And that communication with him and Trey Turner, Sheldon Richardson came right through untouched twice. That can't happen. Especially can't happen to your 39-year-old quarterback.
I'll put it this way, and this might segue into some other stuff. We've been talking about a lot. Okay. The other day, and I'm not the best either. The other day, Kendrick Green was talking to one of the guys on the NFL, right? I think it was Wolf, right? And centers got brought up like Pouncey and Mike Webster. Do you know what? This is what pisses me off and why I think we're in trouble. Do you know what Kendrick Green said about Mike Webster?
What?
He said, "Oh, I'll have to meet him," or something like that. He's dead.
Oh wow.
He's passed away. Now, I honestly don't I know a little bit like football history, but I would always have to second guess myself. Oh, is Mike Webster? Is he still kicking alive? Is he not? Now, he said the things along the words of like Kendrick Green said along the words, "Oh, I'll have to meet him," or that kind of like theme, right? I'll have to talk to Pouncey and talk to Webster. Wolf said, "Oh, well, Mike's passed," and then that was kind of like null and void because they both fucking knew they fucked up. They both, you know what I mean? And this is what I kind of get at with the whole culture, with even Najee to a certain degree didn't know there was overtime. Okay. Kendrick Green is a center for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He doesn't know that Mike Webster, one of the greatest, and I don't know him too well either. Okay. But I'm not a player. Okay. And I find there's a big disconnect for me to see it because I'm younger. Maybe he's younger too. But you've got to know. You've got to know if that's your position. Why aren't you going into the history of the law to figure it out? Why aren't you calling some of these guys up? He didn't know that he had passed away. Do you think that's a big issue, or am I just blowing it out of proportion?
Something like that, I would expect, have some kind of history of your position just coming in, especially your first year, just learning about. I mean, there's so many great centers. Just know all of them, from Hardings to Webster to Pouncey. Just know your position. Especially, I feel like the linebackers always know their history. That's like the first thing they'll talk about when they come in there, unless you're Devin Bush.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Because, he just said something along the lines of, "I'll have to call him, or I'll have to call Pouncey and Webster," and I was like, "Oh." And then when Wolf said, "Well, Mike's passed now," he went, "Oh," and just that's what I think we're facing in this idea of like, you have so much skill, and there's a reason why the Steelers chose you, and you can go and make a big money. Why not put all your energy? Why not put all your energy that you can into create something? Go and do something. Brian Brown says here, Green might not have been born when Mike Webster passed away. He should let that slide. It's fair enough. Like for me too. Like I don't know the history too well I know the 70s, but I don't jump into it. I've never watched too many games because even some of the footage is a bit crackly. I'm just saying, if you're a Pittsburgh Steeler and you get asked that question, maybe you have time on the weekend to research and get on YouTube. You know how you and I, you make the videos and I watch them for hours. Why wouldn't these players look back to see what these other players have done for the team? Look up Troy Polamalu's speech. I think we're missing that.
It's hard to get in between on too. I mean, I don't know what their expectation is on a guy like that, or they just look ahead. I know Troy Polamalu didn't necessarily watch football. I know he didn't. He just played. So I don't know
Didn't
if it's like that with Najee. A lot of
Yeah.
guys might not enjoy like the NFL. They just might go out there and play.
That's an interesting point, isn't it? Because you're right. Maybe it is just for us. We go, why aren't you the best Steeler or whatever? But maybe for Najee and that just is their job, and they just turn up and they, like even sometimes that I reckon they don't even think about the record. They just go, oh, we have to win next week, and that's what they try and do. I don't know. It kind of puts me in a bit of a like, just have some. Are you turning up to work at the Steelers facility, or do you want to be a legend for that you and I can talk about and go out and buy jerseys? Maybe that's the big disconnect. And Noble says here he knew the history of the Steelers, and we give Troy a pass as well. Troy was fantastic. I've never seen anyone play like Troy with his heart and passion. He could call it the CFL every day of the week, and we wouldn't care but like you said, with Green, he's getting pushed back. He's not a true center. He played guard, and it's like, does he just have that position because we have no one else? Can anyone else fill in?
I'm not sure if anyone can hike the ball. I mean,
yeah.
Offensive line's been a strange thing since 2018 for me too. I guess 2019 was half decent. It makes me wonder how DeCastro is healing up and how he's doing.
Yeah. It's a whole new offensive line. It's the only one I really like to see play at the moment is Trey Turner, and even he was pretty scratchy the first few weeks. He's actually physical, and he's having a bit of leadership in the locker room. He's really the only one. Like Chooks is doing okay, but Chooks kind of like slides away. With no Dotson, we put in LeGlue there. LeGlue played good for the Ravens, and then tried his best yesterday. Who's our left tackle? Dan Moore seems like he's trying his best, but there's nothing else really jumps out, right, on the O-line to get Najee.
Well, he does jump out. It seems like he has a false start every single play, and they just let it slide now.
Yeah, I did see one actually. There was one in the game. I thought, yep, that's a false start, and it wasn't called. Yeah. Okay, let's start to wrap it up. We'll go for maybe next 5 minutes, and then we'll call it, or 10 minutes. Where's the heart, mate? Where's the heart, Tyler? Where's the heart of this team? What are we doing?
Defense is dead. I don't know if it's a coaching issue, if it's a personnel issue. Big Ben has all the heart, but he can't give it to everybody. I mean, that man played his heart out like it was his last game of his career, which he might have seen it as such as far as playoffs and everything. So,
yeah. For me, man, I just don't know. It's one thing to go out there and lose. It's another thing to go out there and not show up, and it's been a consistent problem. And we could go out and beat the Tennessee Titans and then go, oh yes, here we go, 4 more to go. We can. It can happen, and we get back our hopes back up again. It's just been a consistent problem though that this team is not ready for the big games. Yes, it was a short week. However, it's the Minnesota Vikings. You had one game on them. They're 5-7. Yes, Dalvin Cook is good. They just weren't ready. Defensive wise, they're slow burners for the offense. I don't know what you can do. Even if you just play like the old school days and just go and, like you said, just run the football 3 times and then punt it away just to get that physicality back and just go, okay, we only got 9 yards, but punt the ball away. Presley Harvin's been pretty okay, on the punts, but they got to change something. On offense, we kind of see the same slants all the time. Yes, they work, but then sometimes they don't work. Yeah, there is no real heart and culture at this very moment in time for the Steelers. But like I said, they could go out and beat the Tennessee Titans by 2 points, by 3 points, and then we're like, wow, we got a chance to playoffs, 7 seed, or division if the other guys start to fall. Do you see us in the playoffs?
I don't know. I mean, I think they can beat every team on the schedule. I think they can beat Tennessee. I think they could beat Kansas City, especially right now, depending on which defense shows up. Cleveland is Cleveland still. They've proved that.
Yeah.
In Baltimore, I mean, I could see it coming down to Baltimore, that final game.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And I think I'd be okay because right now it's like the Ravens was a great game. One of the best games we've ever had versus Ravens. We won that. We come back to win. Physical game. And then the next week you play exactly the same way. Like my thumbnail. I have a thumbnail with Joey Burrows, and that was fun. And the Vikings logo over his face saying you like that. The Vikings are just a mediocre 50-50 team. They played well yesterday. They did what they needed to do. They exploited our defense. It's like we just go from 1 week where we're kind of good, and the next week we're terrible. So what's going to happen the next 4? Brian Brown is like me. I'm like an optimist, and I think we all are. That's what we follow. 4 wins to me, and we can. Titans aren't playing that well either. If they beat the Jags, I'll go 9-3, or 9-2, or something like that. But then they got us. Yeah, Titans have Jags this week, and they have us next week. They have no Henry. I think who's their receiver? AJ Brown, I think, still out. They have a bit of problems, and and Kirk Cousins is pretty similar to Tannehill, I say, pretty 50-50 in average. So
and
see if they, and we get time off to heal. So this is the moment I think. Like I thought the Bengals game was a wake up call, but this does seem maybe like an extended wake up call. Maybe we call the Ravens game and this game 1.5 because it was so close together, if that makes sense, and then we can rally the next 4 games.
I mean, it's interesting to see too. A lot of Steeler fans won't appreciate it, but historically, Thursday night team on Thursday night the away team loses like at an alarming rate. They're a huge disadvantage.
Right. And that's because they got to travel more. Vikings have 3 days to prepare. They go home, have some sleep, and they get we got to travel at least 1 day from Pittsburgh to Minnesota. What's about 6 hours, 7 hours?
Longer than that.
That's half a day if you're flying or whatever. That maybe in the future they got to figure that out. But I know that Amazon just signed a deal for Thursday Night Football. Maybe they get you and I there calling the game. It's interesting. That's why I think like maybe the Ravens game and this game is all together of like, okay, that happens. My optimistic view is like there's 4 games left. You're at home versus Titans. We played pretty good versus Chiefs away. We have. In the past, we have. So, and what I saw from DJ gives me hope of this team. What I saw from DJ versus the Ravens, he played outstanding. Like, DJ is almost in 1,000 yards. So, it will come back. Let's start to wrap it up with 2 more questions. Coach Tomlin, fire him or don't fire him?
Can't fire him yet. I mean, a lot of fans will have the, fire him now mentality, especially as far as discipline, but it's too early. Let Big Ben's career pan out. Let the next quarterback start. See where you go with that. I mean, he's been successful whether people like it or not. There's only one team that wins the Super Bowl every year. There's only 2 teams that will head into the Super Bowl itself. It's the hardest thing to do in all the sports, unless you're named Tom Brady. So, I mean, you can't expect a Super Bowl every year. We're spoiled to have 6.
We definitely are, and I agree with you 100%. I am a Mike Tomlin fan, and I'm so done with the Mike Tomlin haters. I've done my analogy so many times. We're on the same train. I'm sitting up front, loading the coal, pushing the steam train going forward. If you want to be on the same train to me to go to the same destination, you can sit in the back with the luggage. I'm done with you. I'm so done because, it's ebb and flow of the season. Yes, we sucked yesterday, but it's not all on Tomlin. Not all on Tomlin. Some of the game plan wasn't there.
From getting hurt.
Exactly. You can't make Claypool do the bow and arrow first down. Like. You just go and you see Claypool do that, and Tomlin's going to have words with him. I think we're still 6-1, and there are things to be worked on. But he's slowly figured. It's weird. It's so weird. He's kind of figured out now what he needs to do in the last 4 games to win. If that makes sense. He knows that Claypool's a bit selfish, so maybe put him in check. He understands that the defense isn't turning up. He knows that like Witherspoon now can play opposite Joe Hayden when we get him back. So there are ideas going down to if we can win the next 4 games, he's got some ideas around that. I just find it funny that Fired Tomlin comes out after a bad loss versus the Bengals. Quiet.
His worst loss at that. That was the worst loss we've ever experienced. Like
right,
just numbers wise.
quiet for the Ravens because he come out and there was no appreciation for him beating the Ravens.
Nope, none.
None, zero. And they're like number one seed at the time, right? Nothing. And then we lay a duck egg and we play some really bad football. And it was a horrible game, yes.
On a short
And I
week.
get that. On a short week, and I get that. But there's no reason to fire him because, one, who else is going to fill in? And two, we don't make the decision anyway, so just ride with it. And the thing is, like I said in the analogy too before, why are you listening to Tomlin if you don't like him? I wouldn't listen to someone who I didn't like. I would walk past. Say your piece and move on. And then Noble says here, King Tomlin. Look, he's a winner. He's a winner, and if he can right this ship, it'll be quiet again. You know, like it's not. And even if he doesn't, even if we lose the next 4 games, it's not all Tomlin's fault. Would you agree? Like, how could you put the whole blame on Tomlin if we lose 4 games? Does he catch passes? Does he, you know?
Yeah, it goes back years like this. I mean, people will they'll blame him for these 4 games, whatever happens. The Super Bowl, Cowers players, this and that. Dude was a Rashard Mendenhall fumble away. Marquise Pouncey got hurt that game, what was it, Legursky? He got pushed back 5-6 yards in the Big Ben, caused a pick 6 in that Super Bowl. I mean, he's had a rough hand, especially playoff games. AB gets hurt, Bell gets hurt. That playoff game against the Patriots, we were down with like Kobe Hamilton, no Bell. It was a rough bout. Fitzgerald 2 solid fumbles against Denver in 2015.
You got a great memory. Your memory's so good. Yeah.
I mean, he's had a rough hand. I mean, it's not perfect. The worst one is the Jacksonville game, but again, Ryan Shazier goes down the heart and center of that defense, and we let up 40-some points.
Yeah, and they played us really well that game too. I think it was who was it? Who was the quarterback? Blake Bortles.
We couldn't make that stop late in that game.
Yeah, he's got a really funny thing on YouTube too when he's talking to some reporter at like some like cribs kind of thing. He's like smoking cigs or something. I don't know what he says, but he's like, what do you been? She's like, what have you been doing in the off season to prepare, or what do you do in your free time? Oh, smoke cigs or I don't know what he says. It's not all on Tomlin, and it isn't. We're in live chat. Patricia, Noble, Brown, just me. They all agree. It's just that yes, we lost and it's bad, but he will correct things, and he can. Like I just said, if he goes on to figure out Titans and win that game and beat the Chiefs, he's beat the Chiefs a few times, you know. But there's no praise for him. It's just, and he knows it. Like I think he kind of knows the limitations of his players too, you know, and that's why he gets angry in certain points. We had Derek Zutzker out there on the edge, you know. He tried things with the running game, but we haven't got the 2 big fellas up front, Tuitt or Alualu. Right?
Granted, they let up those yards last game. They shut Cook down, and then when it mattered,
they did. They were moving the line. The big Montravius Adams was moving over to the line to stop the run. The only one big play really was that pass. I think when Sutton got burned or whatever. But yeah, how is that Tomlin's fault? He's a coach, and you're just got to bear the weight of everything. I'm just done with the fire Tom because there's no point to it. There's no reason. There's none. Like
it's not gonna make a difference either. I mean, a lot of those comments, I get a million of those on comments on my YouTube channel, and just like
you get them. I was gonna say you must get heat.
He's not gonna see this comment. The Steelers personnel they're not gonna see these comments. I just have to sit there and look at them and just cringe. And
yeah, we lose. It was a bad game, and the reason is why. Oh, Tomlin, Matt Canada. This that. Yeah, but it's the players too, mate. It's you know, I don't know. It's Ben maybe getting rid of the football. It's the O-line. It's so many things, and coaching is only probably 50% or 40% of it. Get your players ready, and it comes down to the onus on the player too to step up. All right, let's finish with one last thing, and we'll call it a day. We're almost an hour. What are your thoughts on Big Ben? Is his last season? Do you believe the reports?
He'll be back. I think 100%.
Are we in this like new world now where it's like, oh, if you and I say Aaron Rodgers is going to the Rams, it's going to be real? Like, not that I'm that big, but you know what I'm saying? Where does it come from, Schefter?
Yeah, I mean, dude, Big Ben's arm is getting stronger week after week, it seems like. I mean, he's putting zip on these balls like he used to. And like you said, where does this all come from? He didn't confirm it. He could have come right out and just said, yep, this is my last year.
Yep.
I think he'll be back. I mean, he looks good.
I got a feeling too. He'll be back. I
It's
got a
not going to be
feeling.
Rudolph. And I'm not a big fan of rookie quarterbacks starting. If the Kenny Pickett crowd came around. But
What is with Pickett? I don't even know this Pickett guy. I know he's a winner, but however, he's leaving. He's not even playing the bowl game. He's leaving his team. I don't want that guy on my team. He's bad as Claypool.
yeah, unless he tears his ACL and doesn't play in the NFL.
Yeah, I guess there's 2 points to it.
He's locked in to be a first round pick.
Yeah, well, the Pickett. We all get Pickett and try next year. No, I'm with you, man. I think Big Ben's coming back next year. The key point of this whole conversation with Adam Jeter, it was a private conversation that got leaked. How is it private if you know about it, you loser?
And he talks about it. I mean, game after game. What, Jacksonville? There's a few times in 2017 he mentioned it. Retirement.
Yeah.
So
they talked about it on the NFL. The whole NFL pregame show was talking about who's going to replace Ben. I'm like, it's not over yet. I don't think it's over. We've been through this a few times. We have, haven't you? We have been through the injury, the speculations, and it never seems to go through. And Big Ben is starting to. He's playing okay. We just need the O-line. If we get a real center.
A lot of cap space next year.
Yeah, get some key pieces and we get some physicality on the offensive line. Get behind Najee, man. Get Juju back and he plays physical and we start to move this ball.
They're gonna get him on a good deal too.
Yeah, and if we can work in various ways to win this game and not just win like we did in 2020, where it's just go down and throw the football. I can see him coming back just for that reason, for a better side. And this is like the rebuilding or transition. You would say, I hate those words, but it's like we don't have too much to play with right now. And getting pieces back next year will be a bigger push. And Big Ben, I don't know, because he hasn't confirmed it. He even said, he didn't confirm it himself. And Just Me says he's already retired a few times just to fool the next team.
On a Brett Favre.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Brett Favre's going. The Jets going here, there. All right. Top of the hour. Thanks, Yinsberg, for coming in, man. Anything you want to say? What do we have a chance in the next 4 games? Should we have high expectation or should we have low? What do we think for the next 4 games?
I'm saying they're going to win the next 4 games.
Yeah.
It's a little biased, but yep, I think they can do it. I think we're going to see a different team against Tennessee.
Right. You know what? Okay, I'll end with this and stick around for 5 minutes. I'll talk to you. But I'll end with this. I kind of agree with you to a certain extent because this game has always been played in 4s. All right. Mike Tomlin has been on quote saying you have to win 75, at least 3 out of 4 to have a chance and go 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, 3-1, which gives you 12-4. Okay, we're in the point now where maybe that Viking game was a null game. Thanks, Nobleman. Where that was a null, it's done. Okay. The next 4 is key, and the season's not over for the 7th, the 6th, because the AFC is so close. I do hope we can go and win the division. I don't believe that Ravens or Browns can run away. The only one I'm scared of is maybe the Bengals to run away and win the division. Now, that would be quite interesting, but I think we can even try and get the 7th. But you're right, though. We can go and we have 10 days break now. Get healthy. Someone needs to yell in each other's ears. You need to go slam your head against the brick wall, against the standard, and put the imprint of standard on your head. When you hit that, I don't know if you've been there, but when you hit that Men of Steel sign, you've got to mean it. And the next 4 games is key because you need to go at least 3-1. And if other teams start to fall away, then we have a chance. So and Tomlin has always said that. Exactly.
This is the 4th quarter of the season. This is the time. They're going to play like they do in the 4th quarter the rest of the way. So,
and I think the break now too. Having the break it would have been better with a win, but having a break now it's awesome to see. But I got yelled at once by one bloke saying you have to win every single game. No. Tomlin understands the idea of the season. 4 games left, at least win 3-1, and you'll have a chance for the 7th. I think if you go 9-7-1, maybe a chance for the 7th. If you go 10-6-1. We could be the division chance because we've got Browns and Ravens. thanks, man, for coming on to the stick around for a minute for Steel Nation Australia. It was fantastic. We'll do that again. That was great, mate.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
You
Awesome.
know what's going on. Because this guy makes all the videos. All right, let me play this and we'll get out of here. And as Just Me says, thanks, Just Me. Standard is standard. Brian says text at when Tony comes. Tony from Behind the Steel Curtain. And Yinsberg, man. Brian Brown loves Yinsberg stuff. And you got 28 subscribers, right? You know what's going on. Hey?
Thank you, man. got a few.
It's a few dozen. All right. Thanks, Steel Nation Australia. We'll see you guys next time. That was fantastic. Let me play this video and we'll get on out of here.